Welcome to Mindful Pilates. And let's come to standing with ourselves just on the mat first, and then we'll move to the foam roller. Okay. So stand on your mat. And feel for your heels, the whole circle of your heels underneath you, underneath your sit bones. Look down at your feet. Look for parallel second metatarsal bones from your second toe to your mid ankle. And then roll your shoulders a few times. Roll them up, back, and down. Fluid breath. Now you can stay with the shoulder rolls or take an elbow. And let's just keep our feet where they are today. Take an elbow up and around, opening up this front chest, opening up the shoulder joint. And you don't have to necessarily lift high. Maybe stretching out gets more into this pec minor. And then take one arm open, thumb back, and just stretch back, keeping your torso forward. Bring your other hand to your low ribs and make sure that in bringing the hand back, you're not flaring the low ribs to get more room. Keep strong in your Pilates square and reach your fingers back behind you and then release and let your arms hang next to each other and just look at the difference from that one stretch. Lift your other palm up, take the thumb back. The wrist can be a little lower than the shoulder. Keep these front ribs forward and in connection with their hip pointer. Strong Pilates square. Reach back through the fingers, through the palm, opening the fascia. Take a few deep breaths into the chest. Knees are soft. And release and roll one more time. Okay, now releasing the shoulders, let your palms turn forward, open across the collarbones, and let your left ear come towards your left shoulder, lengthen through the crown. Feel a stretch in the right neck, perhaps turning to look at the ground over the left shoulder, nodding yes. The neck connected into the shoulders can cause tension in the spine, and in connection to the base of the skull, come back up. Take the ear over, the right ear over towards the right shoulder now. Release the left shoulder. Feel for the stretch. Turn to look out over the right shoulder and nod yes. And come back up. Draw a circle with your nose. As you draw the circle with your nose, really think of letting the back of your head rest back. The tailbone root evenly with the pubic bone. And let the circles get a little larger. And really let your gaze turn down towards the floor in the circle and see if you feel a stretch at the suboccipital muscles, which are the muscles right under the base of the skull. And take your circles beginning small the other way. Really feel into the connection, back of the neck into the skull. And you may feel the connections up under the skull. And come to neutral. Bring your index and your two index fingers to the middle of your neck crease and draw a line at your neck crease up to your ears. Now let your fingers kind of lift the ends of the neck crease and your chin relax down. And then again, let your head rest back. Release your arms and pause in mountain pose. Feel if you're putting equal weight into both feet. Lift your toes, lift your arches, and feel for your big toe ball mound, pinky toe ball mound, inner and outer heels. Now come back to your breath. Breathe into the whole circumference of your lowest ribs. And notice where the fabric of your body is stretching in the torso. If it's stretching in this front chest region or up into the neck, then you want to do a little more opening work on your own in that front chest whenever you can. Is your front Pilates square strong from low ribs to hip pointers? Knees are not locked, hips are not thrown forward, pubic bone and tailbone are grounding evenly. Now find each shoulder blade strong on your back body. Fluid breath. Relax your toes, keep your arches, and release. Lift up your foam roller, take it behind your back, and come again into your Tadasana that we were just practicing. Now the roller can go all the way up so that your tailbone is even with your roller. Your buttocks don't have to rest so much on the roller. You're creating space for them behind you so you can have neutral curves along the roller. Now bring the backs of your hands together like we do in Qigong, forward. Backs of your hands together. And now open, palms forward, thumbs out. Bring the arms back, stretch across your collarbones. Keep your front square, Pilates square, strong. And letting the arms rest a little to the either side of the roller, resting the head of the arm bones back. Take a few deep breaths into the chest. Stretch, let the ribs float open. Fluid breath. Tailbone and pubic bone rooting evenly. Lift your lowest circle of ribs. Take that lowest circle away from your pelvis. So make your waistline longer. You're inching your spine up the roller. Now, center chest rib ring, right at where your bra line would be. Lift that center chest rib ring. Now lift the collar rib ring. Now lift the base of the skull. And let the head rest back. It's okay if the head isn't touching the roller, but in the long run, we would like the head to come back. Now just let yourself rock a little side to side on the roller. Still releasing the head of the arm bones back. Arms dangling. Breathe into the front chest now. Lift the sternum up and out away from the roller with each breath. Now, can you keep the head of the arm bones from popping forward and reach your fingernails back towards the wall? Lengthen by rooting down into the whole circumference of your heel, big toe ball mound, pinky toe ball mound. Lengthen up into the crown. Grow an inch taller. Really work on the lengthening of the legs down, the lifting through the crown, long neck. And release. Okay. So that work I highly recommend people do each day if you feel like you have any head forward posture or rolling of the shoulder. Okay, now let's lift up our TheraBand. If your TheraBand's long enough, I want you to try something new. I want you to wrap it around your shoulder like this and hold it across towards the opposite hip. So it's wrapped around the back of your shoulder. And what we're going to do is just take that shoulder blade back into the TheraBand. So I'm holding both ends of the strap down at my opposite hip. And I have this wrapped around the head of my arm bone. And I'm going to pull back with that shoulder. And I just want you to pause there, pulling back with that shoulder. You have to be strong in the opposite arm. Bring the opposite shoulder blade onto your back too. Let the palm of the strapped shoulder turn forward. Broaden across your shoulder girdle and breathe into the whole circumference of your rib cage. Feel for the shoulders broadening away from each other. Rooting down into the four corners of your feet. Again, lengthen up. Think of the roller behind you. Let your head rest back. Fluid breath. We need to strengthen the back body and stretch open the front pec minor. Another way you can open the pec minor later today is take your yoga therapy ball and roll your front chest. And release. Pause. Feel into both arms. Notice the arm that you've pressed back. You may feel a little bit more freedom to release back. And now let's take the TheraBand around the opposite shoulder. So really wrap it over. I really highly recommend getting one of these latex-free blue TheraBands because they're stronger. Take your other hand to your hip and then open that shoulder back, palm forward of the strapped arm. Make sure that you're not taking the shoulder back by throwing the hips forward or throwing the ribs forward. Keep your Pilates square. Draw the shoulder back, root down into your feet, head rests back. Opposite head of the arm bone is still working. Shoulder blades are both on your back. Take them wide. Make sure you're not locking your knees. Press down into the floor and lengthen up through the crown. Fluid breath. Broaden your shoulder blades away from each other and breathe into the whole circumference of your rib cage. Feel into your outer hips, create banks to the river, and press down into the outer heels. Lengthen the side waist up. Give the shoulder blades some strength to land on by having your waist strong, your low ribs stable. If you let your low ribs come way forward, your shoulder blade has no place to sit. Keep strong in your Pilates square. And release. Now, take the TheraBand, left palm up, right hand to your hip. And let's come into what we usually do, broad across the shoulders, rooting down into the heels. Really breathe into the front sternum. Take it forward and up, keeping your Pilates square strong. And release. Take it to the other side. Left hand to your hip, right arm opens out at your diagonal. Shoulders are on your back body. They're broad. Knees are soft. Ground into the four corners of your feet. Breathe into the whole circumference of your torso. Keep your long waistline, your long neck. And release. And roll your shoulders. Okay. Let's bring one block forward, or if you prefer, you can bring your oov to step up onto the back of. And we are going to step up and step down onto our block. We still have our TheraBand, and right now I'm going to have us bring it around our lowest circle of ribs. Okay, so we're beginning a little hip strengthening work. Have your block ready. If you don't want to use the block, you can step up and down on your own foot. Just kind of lift the other foot off the ground. We step up and down. Now, as you pull your hands forward, pulling around the low back rib ring, breathe into it. Open your hands wider than your shoulders and breathe into a lift at the front sternum and opening across the collarbones. And you can take the arms forward and elbows back in towards your inseam of your shirt as you step up and down, and inhale and exhale, and up and down, and inhale and exhale. Stay with that, or lift the knee and down and up and down. Your head is resting back. The foam roller is still behind you. Long spine, long waistline, lifting sternum, strong Pilates square. The fluid breath. You can stay with these or lift up and tap 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You can stay with these or lift and circle 2, 3, 4, and other way. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and step down. Step up the other side. Make sure you have the four corners of your feet well settled. Inhale up, stretch the arms forward. Exhale down. Inhale and exhale. Breathe into the low back rib ring. Lift the sternum skyward. Broad across your collarbones. Aware of your broad shoulders. You can stay with these or begin lifting the knee and lift, lower and lift and lower. Every time you step up onto your standing leg, you're strengthening your glute med and your ability to balance. Fluid breath. Now, notice if you're starting to lean forward, keep your tailbone rooting down, let your head rest back, keep your postural alignment. If you can in these exercises, stay with these or lift up and tap. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. The arms are a little extended so you feel your rib ring. Circle. 2, 3, 4, and the other way. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Step down and release the TheraBand. Pause again in your mountain pose, palms forward. Broad across your collarbones, shoulder blades. Broad on the back. Root down through the pubic bone and tailbone. Knees are not locked. Lift your navel ring, your low rib ring, your chest ring. Lift your collar, lift the base of the skull. Let the hot air balloon stretch your spine long. Let your head rest back. Take the head of the arm bones around your imaginary roller. Let your hands stretch back towards the back wall. Breathe into the full circumference of your chest. And release. Okay, let's come to the floor. Let's continue some of that work on the floor. Have your foam roller for later down beside you. And have your TheraBands and your Gertie ball. And let yourself rest. Palms up. Knees up. Constructive rest. Tailbone towards earth. Tailbone towards sky. Now notice as you rest here, can you rest your shoulders broader than sometimes when we come to the mat right away? Can you really let the head of the arm bones rest back into the mat? Now, tailbone towards sky. Breathe into the low back. Deep breaths. And exhale fully. Keep the flattened lumbar spine against the floor, breathing into it. Now we're stretching the lower spine. As we do, notice if your chin wants to jut skyward. If it does, make sure you have a pillow in. Try to keep your gaze perpendicular to the floor. Shoulders are open, they're not curling forward. Breathing into the low back, still lengthening the neck. These are sister curves, the lumbar curve and the cervical curve. Make sure the chin doesn't jut skyward. And release. Float one leg to tabletop. Float it back down light as a feather. Other leg up, down light as a feather. If your lumbar curve is flat into the floor here, put a folded blanket under your sacrum. Float one leg to tabletop. And on the exhale, float the other to join. Inhale, toe dip, exhale up. Inhale, toe dip, exhale up. Broad shoulders. Coming in towards our series of 5. Feel into your Pilates square here. Don't let it flare. Keep your neutral curves. Shoulders are broad. Head resting back. Jaw relaxed. This is postural alignment work. Now, bring your hands up. Just lifting your elbows off the floor enough to have your palms on your femurs. Press into the femurs. At 10% of effort, pull the femurs towards your chest. Keep a long neutral spine inside your torso. Shoulders release away from ears. Put a little more pressure. Hands into legs, legs into hands. Keep adding pressure as long as you're not bunching up your shoulders or bunching up your belly. Keep your neutral spine. Your head resting back, gaze perpendicular. Press and pull. This is a very safe isometric for the spine because you can keep your spine in neutral while you work here. 3-dimensional breath. Smile up at the sky. Hug your knees in, circle them wide apart and back together again. Getting the synovial fluid moving in the hips and getting fluid moving in the fascial tissue, the muscular tissue of the hips. Draw the right leg in, lengthen the left leg out at your 45-degree angle, pointing your feet. Now nod nose towards mouth and almost lift from your hairline. You still have a bit of a curve to your back of your neck, but you don't, you making sure you're not jutting the chin skyward. You're lifting from the hairline. And switch. Hold it there. Hug the hips towards midline. Lengthen out of your long leg. And switch. And switch. Toes pointed. Stretch the fascia of the front of the feet. Some of you will float your head up, looking towards the inner thighs. And reach. And reach. Let it be a reach. Really try to press the button with the toe that's a little out of reach. Outside hand to the ankle. Inside hand to the knee. Reaching, fluid breath, lengthening through the crown, and hug both knees to center. Reach hands and feet to the sky. Take your legs in a zip up from inner thigh to inner heel, and on the outside, wrap your legs. Activate the muscles and fascia along the outer leg. Take wrists away from ankles and circle and hug the knees in. Some of you would prefer to double leg toe dip here, and that's fine. Keep your Pilates square strong. Either long legs out and hugged knees in, or toe dips are fine. Some of you will nod nose towards mouth and almost lift from the hairline. If you'd like to, some of you will float the head up. This is contraindicated if you have osteoporosis. Better to keep your head almost lifting from the floor. Fluid breath. Inhale out and exhale in. Reach and close. Reach and close. Let the head rest. Right leg overhead, left leg long. Now let's float the feet. Spread from big toe to pinky toe and pulse, pulse and switch. Pulse, pulse, nod nose towards mouth. Almost lift from the hairline. Keep it there for a few moments, lengthening your neutral curves, strong in your Pilates square. And some of you will float the head. Fluid breath, pointed feet. See if you can see space between each set of toes. And then flex the feet. Press out through the heel. You can always bend the front knee if you need to, if this is too much of a stretch in your hamstrings. Reach long through the spine. Reach long through each stretching heel. And bring the feet together. Rest the head. Bend your knees and toe dip 1 foot towards the floor. Come back up. Come back into your postural alignment awareness. Heads of your arm bones resting back, shoulders broad. Fluid breath. Front abdominal core work. Now you can stay with single leg toe dips or toe dip both legs together and come up. Be really conscious of your Pilates square. Let's all put our thumbs on the low ribs, fingers on the hip pointers. Make sure you're not straining hard inside the square to do this work. Make sure you can draw energy in towards the spine, that it's not all bulging up towards the sky. And then lift your heels if you want to go farther. Flex your feet, lower the heels, point the toes and lift. Shoulders are broad, neck is long. We are still working on postural alignment here. Head resting back, gaze perpendicular to the floor. Hug in the outer hips to help you lift the legs. Fluid breath, shoulders broad. See if you can ground them. Wake up that middle back. And one more. And bend the knees. Float one hand on top of the other behind the head. And exhale. Lift your left elbow, stretch out the left leg, and pause. Rest your head into your hands. Rest your neck crease deeper into the body. And switch. Make sure you're lifting from elbow to shoulder, reaching from rib across to opposite hip pointer, and switch, and switch. The head is not working here. The neck is not working here. We're waking up the obliques. Reach the leg out and out. Notice if you come too low, you'll start to activate the low back. We're wanting to get the front abdominal core. So stay between 45 degrees and 30 degrees. Don't try to come towards the floor. Fluid breath. We want the obliques working. Reach with the elbows. Reach with the ribs across to the hip pointers, and reach with the leg pointing the toes and floining the toes and flexing the foot. Reach through to the heel and come back to center. Rest the head. Float one foot to the floor and then the other. Take a deep three-dimensional inhale. Exhale, relax your back body into the hug of gravity. Release the heads of your arm bones around the imaginary foam roller behind you. Fluid breath. Open the whole circle of the lowest ribs. Okay, coming into more hip and back body strengthening. Bring your arms into robot arms and lift the pelvis. And lower the pelvis and lift. Coming into bridge work, we lower and lift. Lower and lift. Now you can stay with that. Or some of you will like to draw in your oov, which will create a little bit more balance work for the feet, for the body. So if you have an oov, you can lift to that. If you don't have an oov, you can put blocks under each foot to change the height of your lift. So you may put blocks even with your sit bones, or step your feet onto your oov. Fluid breath. If you're on the oov, your feet are on each side of that center line. And we lift and lower. Stay strong across your shoulder girdle. Feel how you can stay strong from humerus bone to elbow. And now lift up and pause. Swing and lift your right hip a little higher. If you're on the oov, this will take balance. Left hip a little higher. Right and left. Right and left. Fluid breath. If you're on the blocks, notice how you're accessing different tissue because you have a little more height. Make sure this is not putting pressure on the cervical curve of your spine. If it is, just come back to feet on the floor. Fluid breath. Come back to center and pulse the pubic bone skyward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and hold. Really hug the glutes into the bone. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and hold. And exhale, soften and roll down one vertebrae at a time. Really try to release each vertebrae to the floor. Take your time. Roll into your neutral curve and exhale. Tailbone skyward. Peel the spine off one vertebrae at a time. Shoulders are still broad. Fluid breath. Take a few breaths at the top into the whole circumference of your torso. Feel for the whole circumference opening. And on the exhale, feel in this position how you can really notice the diaphragm mushrooming up under the lungs. And one more time, roll down one vertebrae at a time. Now you can do this again with both feet on the floor, or Bring the one block to center or the oov under one foot. Now your second toe and your heel will be centered on that center line in the oov. And you again will lift with the one leg, knee towards the sky. Now, if this is too much, you still use both legs. Lower the pelvis and lift. Lower the pelvis and lift. Really good hip strengthening here. Fluid breath. And one more. Straighten the leg if you can. Flex the foot and lower, point the toe and lift. So you can stay with any of these exercises, both feet on the floor in your bridge, resting when you need to, one-legged bridge, or the lower and lift. Come back up, lower the pelvis to the floor. You may need to walk your body a little to the side to put your other foot on the block or on the oov. Remember, on the oov, second toe to center, heel aligned on the groove, and lift and lower, lift and lower. Do this first one with bent knees. Concentrate on a level pelvis. Broadness across the shoulder to support you. Strength down the backs of the arms. Gaze perpendicular to the floor. Now lift up, and if you'd like to, straighten the leg. Flex and lower, point and lift. Flex and lower, point and lift. Fluid breath. Broad across the shoulder girdle. Two more. And lifting up, lower the pelvis down. Hug the knees into your chest. Circle them wide apart. And back together again. Fluid breath. Circle the other way. Okay. Nice work. Let's roll over and come up, and let's bring the foam roller underneath our backs. Okay. And let's do a little more spinal opening for our postural alignment work. So if you know you do have head forward posture, you can bring a pillow in. This will be much better for your neck if you need it. Remember, with a pillow, you're trying to come to a horizontal gaze. You're not trying to lift your head so that you're looking down toward your navel. So sit at the front of your roller and roll back, resting on the roller. If you can have a perpendicular gaze here, you won't need a pillow. But if you're looking back towards your eyebrows and the back of your neck is short, bring a little pillow in on the top of your roller. And then very gently just roll back and forth, just about an inch at most on each side. So you're not rolling way out across your back. You're just rolling the highway lines either side of the spine. Those major muscle bundles that move up and down the spine. Deepest is the multifidi. Then you also have the erector spine, and we're rolling over. If you feel like you have balance with your feet wide on the floor, you can lift your arms towards the sky. And as you roll, let one shoulder come down and the other lift up. Rolling back and forth. Inviting the muscles along the spine, especially up at the thoracic and around the sacrum, to relax. Remembering that when these muscles relax, it will affect the low back and the neck. When we can release stiffness, we'll have more fluidity in the spine and more of an ability to stand up straight for all the work we do and release the head back. So if the thoracic spine of the rib cage is tight into a kyphotic curve, which it has naturally, right? It curls so that your heart sinks back a little into the curve. But if it becomes over accentuated, the neck and head have to respond, and it can throw us forward. We really don't want that to happen. So spending time rolling your spine like this is very worth the time. May not feel so much like exercise, but it may help you keep a healthy posture for your entire life. Fluid breath. rolling gently side to side. And if the roller you have feels too hard, you can always put a blanket over it, but I recommend getting a melt roller because they're softer. Or if you go to Europe, buy a roller over there because they have soft ones, and then bring it back as a weird piece of luggage. Fluid breath. Okay, now come to center. Now let your arms rest open, palms up, thumbs out. And notice, does this pop the head of your arm bone up skyward uncomfortably? If it does, then I should have said have your blocks nearby, but you can kind of look at me. Those of you who don't come to Fridays, you could put your hands on the blocks, and this will lift the hand enough to just let the shoulder rest around the roller without straining the head of the arm bone. If your hands can rest down naturally, then snow angel your arms a little up towards the shoulder and down towards the hip. And breathe into any gentle stretch you're finding. Your hands can be off the floor slightly and you can still find this opening. And your wrists could even be above the head of your arm bone, letting the head of the arm bone release down around the roller. And you could draw an oval up over your body. So let's all come to drawing the oval, hands higher than the shoulders, head of the arm bone resting back. And then let the arms open a little wider. And if you have shoulder issues and this doesn't feel good, stop doing it. Just let yourself rest, hands on your belly. And those of you who can bring the hands a little lower, do so and feel into the stretch of the front chest and around the head of the arm bone. And then everybody rest into a comfortable position for a few breaths. If that's hands on the floor, great. If you need to have a lift under your arms, you can bring your Gertie ball in on one side and a block or a bolster in on the other. You can rest your wrists, let the elbows dangle down. Fluid breath. Really stretch the tissue open from the inside. One more. And on the exhale, roll off to one side of your roller, roll onto your back body, and let yourself rest in constructive rest. Notice if your whole back body feels wider and more open, and if your head rests back more naturally. Fluid breath. Float one leg to tabletop. Take an inhale. Exhale, other leg to tabletop. Bring your hands back to your femur bones and press palms into femurs. Draw femurs towards the chest. Keep your spine long inside, your collarbones broad. Press and pull at whatever level feels right to you, keeping your neutral curves to your spine, keeping your shoulders wide. So your hands may walk a little farther down the femur bones than you're used to. Fluid breath. Breathing three-dimensionally into the abdominal work you're doing. Long neck, relaxed jaw, relaxed eyes. And hug the knees in. Circle them together so that you feel the perimeter of your sacrum. And take the circles the other way. Fluid breath. And now lengthen your right leg out on the mat. Stretch the arms overhead. Really lengthen from the right toe to the fingertips. Shrug the shoulders up around the ears. And draw the right knee back into the chest. Lengthen the left leg out. Point the left foot. Reach the fingertips away. Stretch the entire torso. Fluid, three-dimensional breath. And draw the left leg back into the chest. Put the feet on the floor. Wide as the mat, take the knees to the left. Stretch the right arm away from the right knee. Reach the right inner thigh away from the navel. Deep breaths into the torso. And bring the knees to the other side. Reach. Left hand away from left knee. Left inner thigh away from left navel. Knees back to center, arms back in, roll over to one side. Come up onto your forearm, bringing your legs into your clamshell position. Inhale, float the arm up and over, lift the side body, and exhale down. Some of you may prefer to do this with a hand on the wall so you don't have as much weight on your shoulder or your arm on a piece of furniture. Reaching up and over and coming back. Perhaps you lift the hips and stretch and come back down. Perhaps you lengthen the lifted leg and you pause in the stretch, rainbowing the top arm away from the extending heel of the lifted leg, of the top leg. Take a few breaths into the stretch, opening the myofascia, still strengthening the lower side body. Lift the arm, lift the leg, and see if you can float. Fluid breath, strengthening the sides of the spine. Can you come into three-dimensional breath and play with, where is my head in space? Do I tend to drop it forward? Even here, we don't want to do that. Lengthen through the crown. Feel into where the sternum is, where your shoulders are, and release. Bring your pillow in underneath your head. Doing a time check. And you can have your arm long, or you can have your arm parallel to, or perpendicular to your spine forward. And open your clamshell and close your clamshell. Put your front hand right in front of your core. Lift your lower side waist lightly off the floor. Open and close. Open and close. Lift the feet and open and close. Open and close. These will get progressively harder. Feel free to come back to any of the previous exercises. Strengthening the hips. Long spine, neutral spine, even here. My pillow's a tiny bit too high. I'm going to move back so that it's less high. And even here, we think of palate in line with heart, in line with pelvis. Now, you can stay with those or keep the femur bones where they are. Straighten the legs out. They'll go out at an angle. Float the top leg and release. See if you can keep lifting the lower side body. This will be work at aligning the spine. You can do this work standing. Fluid breath. Lift heel and pinky toe evenly. We're not in turnout. And come back down. Take the foot down the mat, straight down the mat. Feel into keeping a strong Pilates square, a neutral lumbar curve. You may not kick far. Kick forward. Keep that neutral lumbar curve. Flex and draw back. Point and kick forward. Flex and draw back. Fluid breath. Working on strengthening the hips. And you can stay with this, or you can go back with the foot down, draw the heel to the buttock, and begin to ride your side-lying bicycle. This takes us into an intermediate Pilates mat right here. Fluid breath. Keep your side bodies long, the lower side body lifting off, so you're strong across your shoulder girdle. And see if you can bicycle backwards. Feel into how your hip is working. Fluid breath. We don't need to do many, but we want to do them with consciousness. And release. Pat your hip, Pat your buttock. And let's do one more. Float the top foot off the bottom and draw your soccer balls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Other way. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And bend your knees and pat your hip again. Okay, let's come to the other side. And let's begin with our side strengthening. That work is really important. So if you can't do it on the floor, I strongly recommend you do it against a wall so that you build strength up the side body. So we float the arm up and over. We stretch the rib cage and we come back. We inhale deep into the belly and we exhale back. And we just enjoy feeling into the stretch. And if it doesn't feel good in the shoulder, then how high can we go? Maybe we open out a little bit or we open forward a little bit. You're just trying to find some opening in your fascial tissue. And then some of us will lift the hips and lower. Lift with the bottom buttock as well as the top. And lower. Fluid breath. Feel the bottom side body working no matter which exercise you're in. Some of you will lengthen the top leg and reach the top arm over, breathing into the top side body stretch. Feel into what's being strong, what's stretching open. Some of you will float up the limbs and hold the side plank. Fluid breath, active buttocks hugging into the ilium bones. And release. Draw your pillow in if you're going to use one. And come into your clamshell and open your clamshell and close. Remember, we're not rolling back to open the knees. There's a wall behind us at the sacrum. Fluid breath. And lift the feet and open and close. Open and close. Head in nice alignment with the heart and the pelvis. My teacher used to have us line ourselves up against the back edge of the mat so we wouldn't curl forward into a fetal position. This is really good outer hip strengthening. So you can stay with these clamshells and still get a really nice hip work. If you want to go farther, close the knees, keep the femur bones where they are, straighten the legs, and float the top leg up. Float it down. Keep outer heel and pinky toe even because we're trying to get into these deep hip muscles. And if you turn the leg out, you'll be strengthening a whole different area. Fluid breath. Can you keep the waistline long and this bottom waistline gently lifting? That'll take the work down into the hip instead of a sag and lift of the spine. And coming back down, take the foot down the mat. Now become really aware of your Pilates square and your neutral lumbar curve. Keep those as you kick forward with a point and pull back with a flex. So you don't have to go as far forward as the most flexible person can. Really concentrate on keeping your neutral spine, keeping your healthy posture. This will help you learn to create more freedom inside the hip joint itself. You won't be taking the pelvis and spine for the ride. Now, if you'd like to draw back, bring the heel to the sit bone and bicycle. Fluid breath, fluid bicycling, still that lower side body's gently lifting off the floor. And you could take the bicycles backwards. Fluid breath. Strong across the hips. And if you keep that side waist a little lifted, you'll keep more balance across the pelvic girdle. One more here. And let both legs rest and pat your buttock. Good job, deep hip muscles. And then one last set. Lift your side waist, lift the top leg, and draw your soccer balls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And bend your knees and pat your buttock again. Fluid breath. And as you're ready, come up onto your hands and knees. Hands and knees, inhale your cow, and exhale your hissing cat. Fluid breath. Pause in your cow pose, stretch from crown to tail. Even as you're sagging the spine towards the floor, gently hug up towards the spine with your core. And then exhale, press the heels of the hands away from your knees, lift the spine skyward, release the head, release the tail, breathe into the body. Long neck. And roll your toes under and lift into a bent-kneed downward dog. Lengthen from hands to hip creases. Whole side body long. Now think of your posture on the foam roller. Rest your head onto the foam roller. Just broad shoulders. Feel your thoracic spine on the foam roller, your sacrum on the foam roller. And keeping that, gently walk your dog. So you may not straighten the leg completely because your main focus is to keep a long neutral spine. Long neutral spine. Now, flow forward, shoulders over wrists. Some of you will come to your knees for our plank. Again, can your head rest onto the foam roller? Your thoracic spine, your sacrum. Long neutral cervical curve to this neck. Long neutral lumbar curve. A few more breaths. Three-dimensional breaths. Some of you are wanting to work on more strengthening during this next year. We will do a weightlifting workshop later in the year. Breathe into using your body to hold your own strength here. Using your strength to hold your own body here. Roll back. Downward dog. Bend your knees. Find that neutral spine along your foam roller. That means you can't drop your head like a heavy fruit through your arms. Lengthen out of your arms into your hands, into your finger pads. And step your feet forward. Lay your belly on your femurs. You can rest your arms here and cross them and even let the head dangle down, even if it comes into a little bit of more of a kyphotic curve. That's okay when we're resting into it for a stretch. Take a few breaths. Some of you will be able to lift your sit bones skyward without too much pull in the hamstrings, coming into a forward fold, letting the shoulders help traction the spine, the head help traction the spine. And then bend your knees and float your arms skyward, lifting up and exhale the hands down through your center channel. Open your palms forward, thumbs out, broad across your collarbones. Release your tail, release your pubic bone, and come back to the wall. So this was one of the most frequent, standing pose exercises that my Pilates teacher had us do every day. Stand against the wall, open your collarbones wide, bring your fingernails back against the wall. Do not lock your knees. If you can, walk your heels back to the wall. Now think of your neutral curves as you lean forward at an angle off the wall. Your shoulders and your head come off the wall. Your hips may come off the wall. You're really leaning up onto the ball of your foot and your toes. but you're still lifting the heart center, lengthening through the crown, breathing into opening that front chest. Fluid breath. Long up into the crown, broad across the shoulders. Now try to root your heels down even though you're leaning forward. Root the outer heel and the inner heel. Broad across the back shoulders, breathing into the front chest. You are the prow of the ship. Tailbone reaching for the corner where wall and floor meet. Base of the skull lifting. And let yourself float off the wall. Float back to center mat. Back into your Tadasana. Heels under sit bones. Second metatarsals parallel. Float your palate over your heart center, over your pelvis. Smile your collarbones open. Feel the strength of your Pilates square supporting your body. Root your tailbone, lift the base of the skull. Three-dimensional breath. Long side waists. A gentle lift at the back of the armpit. Let your head rest back into the cosmic headrest. Relax. And let's inhale. Draw in our awareness of our body, of healthy posture for this entire week. And let's inhale in a wonderful Wednesday for all of you. Thank you for your practice.